For my editing midterm, I chose to research Sandra Adair. She's born in 1952, New Mexico, and now lives in Texas. She's been married for 48 years to a former director and a mother of two. I think her raised a family and been in a family for so long and gotten to see her kids grow up really shows in her editing, this kind of nurturing role, and also how much these films are about people and families. She mainly works with Richard Linklater, starting with Dazed and Confused, and she's made over 20 films with him. Richard Linklater, who tells stories about coming of age, family, love, a lot of dramas and comedies, stories about youth. I'm going to be looking at different techniques and patterns I found with her choices. She's not a super flashy editor. She's very much trying to serve the movie and make it flow better, because these films are a lot about people's conversations. Conversations can often be associating with slowing down movies, but I think she does a great job of film's flows. She edits a lot with eyes, so here we see Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy in Before Sunrise meeting on the train, and we see his eyes, and then we see she kind of looks at him, then back at her book, then back at him, and we're getting all this time just to see them looking at each other, letting us know that this is what this movie is going to be about, these two characters. Then, now that we have this idea that they're looking at each other, we get to see them both look at this couple that's mirrored them. And then we get to see them start talking. And now he's really staring at her, she's really staring at her, so keeps editing with these eyes, giving more time to just look at their eyes back and forth to build this romantic chemistry. And the two-shot starts of them just talking back and forth. Here's a scene from Boyhood where the main character has gotten a really bad haircut and is really nervous about going to class. And he sits down, and you can just see it in his face. He does not want to be here. He's so just not having it. He's worried. And we're just getting these little reactions. They're not like full Spielberg face where it's like someone says a big reveal and then they're like, actually, no. It's just like these little small reactions where we can just feel our character's eyes. And then we have this long take here where we get to see a bunch of characters' eyes going back and forth, and we can feel the reaction kind of building as it goes on. And we get more and more nervous that this note that they're passing down is going to say something really mean because of how concerned he is about his haircut. Then we directly get a big look at a character's eyes. Then Mason's nervous. You know, all these little cuts just to see our character's eyes. And then we get Mason, I think your hair looks cool. We see a change in his eyes, then mirrored to her eyes, back to his. And it's a really nice, sweet reveal. Linklater loves his two-shot conversation scenes. It's maybe his go-to way of just filming a scene in general. So in this scene, Jack Black is talking to one of his kids in his class who's nervous about joining the band.
In bands are cool.
As soon as it's more serious, we're going to be looking at him, but when it's more funny, we're
Nobody
looking at Jack Black.
Never talks to me.
So in a two-shot, generally the character who's talking will be, you know, the one on screen.
Well, those days are over, buddy. Because you could be the
And even though Jack Black's still talking, we're seeing Lawrence because we're really focused
ugliest
on
sad
the more
sack on the
serious
planet. But if you're in a
reaction.
rockin' band,
Then back to him.
you're the cat's
so we can see
pajamas,
the
man.
funny
You're the
side of
bee's
him.
knees.
Bee's knees?
Yeah, the bee's knees.
It's very silly, so then we're going back and forth, and you'll see that, like, if a character has something to say, we're gonna snap right to their line, but when a character is thinking about something, that's when we'll hold
You're
longer
gonna be the most popular guy in school, trust
to
me.
see the reaction. She's willing to, you know,
I know.
cut
He's passing through here
these
too.
conversations
He's
in
American.
many
He's going
different
back home
ways,
tomorrow.
back to back,
Well,
but
He
will
convinced
not
me.
always be looking at the
mean,
character who's
actually, I was-
talking. It's more
I was
about
ready to
the
get off the
character who's
train with
important
him
in the scene.
after talking to him a short while. You were so
So
sweet, I
here
couldn't
Julie
help.
Delpy's talking.
Him
When
as
she
a little
tells
boy
more
singing his great-grandmother's
stories, she's talking, but when it's directly
when I
about
fell
him,
for
we're going to
him.
be looking at him and his reaction. Then we have invisible long takes, which Linklater and Adair really like to use, which are just conversation long takes, where characters just are talking. And I mean, here the camera's like just moving with the back of the bus, and that could
No, you
be
should
green
date
screen
Emma
too.
because she has a big crush on
But the
you.
camera camera
You
pretty
took
much
to me
stays in place and they just talk. This is like 2 minutes of it.
And then
They're
you
just telling
officially asked
stories,
me
and
out
now
on a
as we've
date.
gotten to know
You
these
know, I
characters
pretended I
better,
didn't like him.
we get to just see both
You know,
the reactions.
I was so
and
afraid of,
we can see how
you know,
they
what I
interact
might
with
do.
each other.
You know.
So there's multiple
Q&A
ways they're
time.
willing to tell conversations. Then in School of Rock, scenes about, you know, two characters
just a
talking
waste
to
of
each
time.
other in long takes. We
waste
have
of-
this scene where Jack Black teaches all these students how to play a bit of rock and roll. It's like a bunch of one-on-one lessons, cutting back and forth.
alright? One.
It's very snappy still, going from...
bass.
And then after
Try it
he's
on.
talked to all of them,
here.
we weave into this long take of him going from musician to musician, just putting all the parts of the music together. Then it all come together, and it's an invisible one take because it feels so seamless because we see them all together first, and then we get to just watch them go and have fun. In conclusion, Sandra Adair has this really unique rhythm to her editing to serve the story, where she's willing to both take her time with shots but still wants to keep things moving and will choose who to focus on just based on serving the story and putting these little reactions but still have it flow, though she can still, you know, have a shot just sit there and will have it keep moving despite it staying in place and not cutting. She uses eyes of characters to tell the story and will often, you know, both use eye trace and have us looking at the characters' eyes to see their reactions as cutaways or just as a way of telling the story. I think I learned a lot from this, that fast pace and action is not the only way to move a movie and have it flow faster. If you have really fast, well-written conversations and can move effortlessly as well. Doesn't mean you have tons of fast takes. It can be kind of all over the place as long as it flows together with when the line of dialogue ends and what we see next or continues going. And then they love their two-shot scenes and their long takes and doing them in many different ways.